It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Hey, everybody, welcome in. It is the PJ Show for you on this Monday, the 29th day of January, Pilk? We're still in January?
Unfortunately, we are. We're still in January.
Okay. Philip the Ref Pilkington yonder producing across the glass, as we tend to say in the business. I am the great P-Man. Nice to have you here on this Monday after the NFC and AFC championship games and after a Pirate overtime victory. I didn't think the crowd was so bad yesterday. Now, I was watching it from the comfy confines of the working man's beach and the beach house, but I did not notice, I personally did not notice, Pilk, that there was a bad crowd there per se. Now, were you in the studio or were you for Pirate basketball, I'm speaking of here, or were you in the studio?
I was in the studio.
Okay. Well, what would you know, right?
Yeah, nothing.
How would you know?
I would know how good Coach Perry and Darren Vaughn sounded on the call. That's all I got for you.
That's a great recovery. I know, and you probably noticed you don't have a screen in there anymore. I've taken it. It's my TV, and I've taken it.
I was wondering what happened to the TV.
It's my TV.
Okay, that's fair enough.
That I bought when I came here 5 years ago, and I've taken it.
Okay. I was just worried that it had grown legs and walked away, and I kept asking people.
It did one time, and I had to.
Yeah. Okay.
Had to get into Buscemi and another past employee about it's not yours, it's mine.
Gotcha. At least I know what happened to it.
I'm all for the team. So you may, if you may want to get this one TV that's over here in the corner of this studio moved in there, so you can watch television. That used to be the case.
We need to get it back that way because when you're producing, you need games.
You're here all day.
Yeah.
I mean, I question what you do. Did you move a camera in there? Are we not going to see you?
Sorry. Wait. There we go. Sorry, I
wasn't.
wasn't making like long enough points. I didn't think I was going on a rant.
You love the camera like Peter loves the Lord, so I can't believe you haven't put it on you yet.
Yeah, there you go. You happy?
Not really.
No. Oh, okay.
Your look tends to change every day. I don't know what it is. Quick reaction to the football, Pilk. Obviously, Kansas City's defense was outstanding. I don't see how Baltimore won a game all year. It's the first time I've really watched the Ravens all season, like really watched them. And I thought their offense was putrid. I thought Lamar Jackson looked like a rookie. And I thought they also unraveled in the moment. I thought that they did a really poor job of handling the pressure. I mean, they got baited into taunting. I'm already sick of the KC Swifties. So I'm rooting for the 49ers almost default. And I'm no 49ers fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm just rooting for them. I feel badly for Detroit. Pilk, was that a case, you think, in the second half of what Detroit did wrong? And I know you could talk about the fourth downs, the decisions to go for it and all that, but which they've done all year. Or was that just San Francisco woke up and caught lightning in a bottle and got some breaks? Which one was it?
San Francisco is the best roster in the NFL, top to bottom.
Right.
And it was unfortunate that they started as slow as they did. To say they caught lightning in a bottle, I would say that that's true, but that's just the team they are. They are just that good. I thought they were going to win it at the beginning of the year, so I'm no surprise that they're here. It stinks for Detroit that it came to an end the way it did, but hey, this 49ers team, you lose that team, you have nothing to be ashamed of.
No, not at all. Did I share this on Facebook? We're up and running here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I must have because it says it's got to share. And I'm sure nobody else did. All right. Thanks for being with us here. We'll get more heavy into the Super Bowl next week. I mean,
we got 13 days. So
correct.
I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to talk.
Yeah, there'll be lots to talk about. Pilk, I like the fact it's in Vegas. I think that ought to be a frequent participant in the rotation, Vegas.
I agree. Because I haven't been to the stadium, but from what I understand, it's very nice. And there's plenty of hotel space where people can walk to the game.
Yep.
So people are already spending so much money, you don't want to have to worry about fighting for an Uber or a cab. If you fly in, have to worry about renting a car. I mean, you're just right there. I think it's perfect. And then when they do it, the football or the Super Bowl is now such a spectacle. It's a weekend-long spectacle. There's all these parties that go on before, and it's very easy to have them right there on the strip. And a lot of these places, it's a stadium inside of a parking lot, and downtown is 20 miles away, so it's perfect.
Well, and a lot of places have some kind of adjacent facility or convention center or something that they can hold the Radio Row and some of those kind of events. But you're correct in that it is Vegas seems to be tailor-made and set up for this situation as far as just the entertainment and everything you kind of need in that area. All right, Pilk, you'll wrap up the show talking about the championship games in the NFC and the AFC, correct? You'll be okay.
Wrap it up.
All right, so Philip Pilkey, to wrapping up today's show, I'm headed over in a bit to tiebreakers for Inside Pirate Athletics. I assume Igo will be back tonight. I've not heard anything to the contrary.
Yeah, he does not have the flu. He seemed perfectly fine 5 hours ago.
He's a little soft. But, I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
He's we'll see.
He's got 2 munchkins at home, and he's been sick. I don't think he's gotten a lot of sleep. He was yawning a little bit offset.
Well, if you ever listened to his show, hey-oh! I'm kidding.
That was good.
I'm kidding. I will get an email or a text for that. You know that?
I thought it was funny. We're all in good fun. We're all one big happy family here. You're not really family if you don't bag on each other.
So East Carolina winning yesterday in basketball. We'll talk to Mike Swartz, Inside Pirate Athletics from Tiebreakers. Hope a big crowd will be out at 6 o'clock there. Tiebreakers in Bells Fork. We'll also have, I'm told, a couple of players, R.J. Felton and Bobby Pettiford. So that'll be a lot of fun tonight and enjoyable to talk to those guys. Right now, let's do a Pirate Report as we get ready for that show tonight and have some post audio involving some of those folks for you as ECU gets the victory over the Temple Owls and gets the season sweep of the guys from Philly.
And now, Patrick Johnson with today's Pirate Report on the flagship station of the ECU Pirates, 94.3 The Game.
All right, Mike Swartz talking about how tough the Pirates were and that they believed right until the very end.
Revelation standpoint or we're over the hump, I would never say that.
Sure.
But I do know this, that every time you're in these games, I told the guys it was 7:38 on the clock. I said, guys, look at the scoreboard, tie game. This is exactly where we're supposed to be right now. Conference play, every game is like this. The other night, 7:58 on the clock, tie game versus Wichita. This is where it's supposed to be. Down, 7 or 8 with 3-something to go?
Yeah,
I don't know what
it
was.
got up to 8.
Got up to 8. 3-possession game. We said, hey, 3-possession game. This is what we got to do. We got to make adjustment. Here's what we got to do to our defense now. Obviously we got to go full court defense, and we started trapping and doing things like that and making some adjustments offensively to go quicker. And you know what? It paid off, but the guys did it. But it doesn't matter what you run, what you do, what adjustments you make, if the guys don't believe they can do it and play with that tenacity. And that's what I thought our guys did the whole night, but particularly, obviously, the last 4 minutes.
All right, and Coach Swartz on going with different lineups in the game yesterday to try to find a spark.
We just won a game shooting 31.7%.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. We won on the road shooting low 30s%, whatever it was. And so what happens is with those lineups, you're trying different guys to give a spark. And you know what? I'll say this. It's not necessarily the ball going through the basket, but I thought Caleb gave us a spark. He scored. He gave us a spark when he went in there.
Yeah, floater over here was huge.
Big shot for us. Ben Sal gave us a spark. He gave us a spark. It's not about the ball going through the basket, but it's a hustle play in the corner, and it's going. And, even he went to block a shot. Those things give you sparks. And when the ball's not going through the basket, sometimes as a coach, you're just looking for something to spark it. Look, we're not going to be very successful, and no coach is if you say the spark's going to be when we make a three. I would love it, and if I knew how we could do that, I would do it every time. But you have to find a way to make a spark and create a fire a different way. I thought Logan went in there and gave us a good minutes.
All right, and Coach, talking about, again, that point of the Pirates won yesterday despite shooting the ball at a very poor percentage.
And I just thought this was a team win from guys that The ball's not going through the basket. It's the hardest thing to do, to continue to fight and rebound and fight when the ball's not going through the basket. But our guys did it, and, you end up looking at things like 16 offensive rebounds. That's usually a telltale of, do you keep fighting? And, I just thought our guys did that and played through that. And I'll give you another stat that I know we have not been great at this season. But your team is mentally resilient when you're not only not shooting the ball well, but you go 26 for 32 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
That's a big deal to make free throws at that percentage, which we know we have not always done it. But to be able to shoot almost 86%, or no, that's not for the game, 81%,
yep.
86% in the second half, that's big for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw a tremendous performance from R.J. Felton, 24 points, 11 rebounds, and some great defensive efforts as well, some block shots. R.J. was just an absolute stud yesterday. Didn't shoot the ball great, but nobody really did. But he was bouncy, he was engaged, and I thought did a really fine job. So this is R.J. Felton, or rather, Coach Swartz on R.J. Felton and the superb night that he had.
He hits the two on the line.
Yep.
Obviously, those were huge. But you use two words that really can describe R.J. Felton: effort and unrelenting. That's what he was tonight. I mean, that rebound that he got to get fouled.
Yeah.
I mean, he went up in there, and
that was the second consecutive one, right? He had two tip-in opportunities there.
And he's in there, but he does it not up the block that turns into a jump ball.
I mentioned it.
That's as big of a play as there is.
Absolutely.
The block, and he hits it so hard that it wedges him in the corner.
All right, more from Coach Swartz, where he talks about the defense that led to offense late in the game.
How did we score? Again, we scored off our defense.
Right.
Our defense, the spark of offense was the defense. And then we finally found a little bit of a rhythm of something between what we were going to late game to get downhill. And, they didn't go every time, but I thought Bob had a great drive. He got downhill. Bob played really well, but, very kind of unnoticed 31 minutes and 5 for 10. That's the kind of 5 rebounds. That's the kind of aggression that we need from him. I thought he did a good job on that. Mike, we turned it over 8 times, in an overtime game.
All right, and he says, this Coach Swartz, the locker room was very mature after the game.
When we won in Wichita, there was definitely this excitement of a road win. And not that it wasn't that in there, but I think our guys also knew, hey, they know the areas we have to be better. I thought it was a mature locker room just now because they understood conference win. They were excited about that. But they also understood that, guys, sometimes it's not going to be this love affair win. It's not going to be this great feeling all the time. Sometimes you just have to find a way to out-tough down the stretch. And it's not about out-toughing your opponent. It's out-toughing yourself.
Yeah, right.
It's not allowing yourself to drop your head and look at the clock and say, man, I just turned it over. I just missed a shot.
All right, and that's what really happened last night, that the Pirates just kind of out-toughed Temple, and that's not always been the case. All right, let's hear from the players before we grab a break on our Pirate Report. R.J. Felton, as we mentioned, had the big day, and he talked about having to rely on defense when the shots aren't falling.
Sure, you got to rely on defense. Defense win championships, man. Went 7 for 24, 3 for 12 for 3. Had a terrible game shooting, but you already know you got to rely on defense. You got guys, Bobby stepped it up in the second half. J-Walk with a crucial and one down the stretch. Man, you got to rely big time plays, make big time plays.
R.J. Felton with 11 rebounds. He talked about getting those boards.
I got to make myself tall, so I got to think like I'm 6'7" or 6'8". Try to grab boards and shoot. I had 2 blocks, so made myself taller. Gotta think taller.
He plays like he's 6'7" or 6'8", doesn't he, Pilk? With the way he can jump, it's pretty remarkable.
He does. I wish it would have worked with me in high school with speed. Maybe if I'd have thought I was faster, I could have ran a 4.5.
All right, more from RJ here when asked about what was going through his mind with those free throws at the end of regulation to tie it up.
Man, we was down by 2. It was a crucial possession. Had to get a rebound. Man, my whole leg was cramping up on me. I had to think about that, and also think like, man, we can't lose this one at the crib. So I was like, man, let me knock these 2 down. Once I knock these 2 down, I was like, I know we're gonna get them in overtime.
All right, and then Bobby Pettiford Jr. also speaking in the postgame talked about how the press that the Pirates employed in the late in the game helped.
I feel like we're playing with 6-on-5 with obviously the crowd getting into it. I think even the guys that if RJ was super tired, I think he got a little more energy off getting some clutch plays, getting some good steals and things like that. So once you kind of we got some steals and then we saw the ball go in on a few layups, it just kind of pumped us up and we were able to pull one out.
And he talked about what it was like, or what it is like, to go against RJ Felton every day in practice.
Truthfully, it's annoying. He one of the guys that you want on your team, but you don't want to play against because even if he's tired, he gonna act like he's not tired. He just goes all out with everything he does, kind of just on and off the court. Yeah, he's great to play with, but in practice, he pushes you to that next level.
All right, last cut here, and this is Bobby Fetterford talking about the late game run and how that carried the Pirates were able to carry that momentum into overtime.
Revelation standpoint, or
3, 2.
Being at home and you go on a run like that, you feel like you got all the momentum. Coach is, pumped out of his mind. RJ's talking to everybody, pumping everybody up, just giving guys confidence. So I think everybody's, just kind of self-esteem and everything just went up a little more, and we were able to come out with the dub.
All right, Pirates with the victory. They'll be back at home against South Florida Wednesday. More on that tomorrow. When we come back, we will talk about the latest NIL collective initiative concerning Pirate baseball, the 23 Club, and Mike Harrington will join us to talk about that next.
It's Greenville Toyota's winter wrap-up event. Wrap up a great deal on over 100 pre-owned vehicles, starting under $15,000. We have all makes and models, including luxury. Plus, wrap up a huge warranty and no-charge maintenance. Hurry into Greenville Toyota.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Hey, grab me one too.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
It's Greenville Toyota's winter wrap-up event. We're wrapping up the year with our biggest savings. Shop new Camrys and RAV4s, $289 a month. Need credit? Get pre-qualified today. Wrap up a great deal with payments from $289 at Greenville Toyota.
We have you covered with all the ECU news and beyond that you need for the drive home. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Okay, welcome back with us. The ECU baseball team, we're less than 3 weeks away from first pitch. They had their banquet this past Saturday night. Sellout there again, over 600 folks in attendance. And there were also people who were able to consume the banquet, I think, by a video feed this year, like a pay-per-view video feed. So that was pretty neat. A lot of interest, as there always is, in ECU baseball. Pilk will have in his update, won't you, Pilk, some of the preseason accolades that have come out and more rankings. So, yeah, Pilk says he'll have that for you coming up in just a little bit. All right. It was also announced at the banquet on Saturday night that a brand new affiliate program of the Team Boneyard NIL Collective has been established, the 23 Club for Pirate Baseball. Mike Harrington is a part of that, and Mike joins us now. There he is. Out on the road is Mike Harrington. He's with us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. Hey, Mike, thank you for taking a few minutes with us here this afternoon to talk about this, and really do appreciate it. Yeah, pretty exciting. And tell us what exactly this is.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. I appreciate you having me. So if anyone was at the banquet, they heard us talk about the 23 Club a little bit, kind of the backstory, but I'll give it to you, here with your listeners. This really started as a late night campfire discussion with a bunch of former players, myself included. And that's where, of course, all good ideas happen, right, with a beer in hand. It was one of those things where we've heard bits and pieces about it. We kind of understood it, and we said, this thing's starting to collect a little steam. And, if ECU, which is a perennial program, our blood, sweat, and tears are in this program, I've been around it since I was in high school. Yeah. So it's something that's been in my life forever. And so if we want to stay competitive, this is kind of a necessary evil. I don't want to term it in those words, but it is. And, I was like, if anybody was going to do this, really, there's no better people to do it than former players who really kind of understand the culture, the program, really understand Cliff and what he's trying to do. And that was the kernel of it. And off we went from there.
It's interesting. I know there's been aspects of Team Boneyard where there's been NIL either earmarked or NIL that goes to players. Well, this will be just exclusively baseball. So this would just concentrate on that.
Correct. Yeah. So, as we kind of got into this, Hank and I grew up together, and, I knew Hank was, part of Team Boneyard. So I said, well, let me give Hank a call. I'm just curious. I want to learn more about what's going on. And that's really how it started. So, instead of recreating the wheel and creating something completely separate, completely, standalone, we said, why don't we team up? You guys already have the infrastructure in place. We obviously have the drive, the passion, and the connections to kind of run with this thing. And that's how it worked. And it's really a great relationship. I mean, what the guys have done at Team Boneyard's really, really impressive, with really kind of learning on the fly as well. And, we're able to use some of that momentum, use some of the knowledge that they've gained over the past couple years and propel the baseball program. So that's really in a nutshell where we're trying to do. I mean, it's exciting. It's a whole other job for me and my committee members, but that's okay. We're willing to put in the work and the effort to make it successful.
The brand new offshoot of Team Boneyard is the 23 Club. It is a baseball NIL collective for East Carolina baseball. Mike Harrington, Pirate player, J.H. Rose alum, joins us. So he is it's a passion project for him, like I think this is for Hank and a lot the Team Boneyard people. I mean, this it's one of those deals nobody's getting paid. There are no administrative fees. I'm sure there's something very similar like that going on with you all in that no fees are being skimmed off the top before any of the money goes out.
If there are, they're not coming to me. I can tell you that. It's not only been a time investment, but it's been a monetary investment for us as well. And but we were willing to do that. We understand it. I think eventually, like all these NIL collectives, they've got to get to a point where they are standalone. It's really hard to knock on people's doors every month or every year and say, okay, I need another check so we can keep this thing alive. I mean, that's just not sustainable. So, but that's down the line. I think number one is getting it up and running, taking that first step, just like starting up a business, right? Go from the hardest part, 0 to 1. And I think we've done that. So,
Mike, you mentioned the board. Can you go into who is on that board and how many, or is that not for public consumption?
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, we wanted to create sort of it's more of an advisory committee with, underneath the umbrella of Team Boneyard, who we just focus on the baseball specific 23 club. But, we made a bunch of calls. So the initial advisory committee is myself, Jason Howard, Jeremy Schumacher, Chad Tracy, Matt Bridges, and Cam Colmore. We were trying to get a collection of guys from different years who have kind of their own network of former players and friends, so we can really kind of we want to hit as many of the past alumni groups as we possibly can. And there's others that we really want to bring into the mix, but to start small, I think that's kind of where we're at, and we'll see how it works.
If you guys decided to field a rec or church softball league team, you'd have a heck of a lineup there. So just, there's something to keep in mind.
I mean, I don't think anybody else would want to play us.
Mike Harrington is with us here. Now, we know teamboneyard.org. Will you all kind of have separate a separate clearinghouse, or is the best way just to go to teamboneyard.org and it'll eventually route you there?
So we have a temporary site up now. It's 23club.org. So that is the best way to reach us, to learn more about us, and to donate. So we already have online donations set up at 23club.org. Final site should be launched within a week or so, but it is working now. It just takes us to a temporary host. But all that's online, all that's ready to go. We're already getting donations. I really want to give a big shout out to Mike Radford. He gave $1,000 at the banquet before we even announced it. So, he was on it. Tremendous support. We're getting donations in, left and right as we speak. I mean, it's really cool to see this. And we really had no doubt, right? I mean, you saw at the banquet, the passion of the community for ECU baseball is incredible. And I think this is something that's really going to benefit the program as a whole.
Mike, I think what people may not know, and certainly I think diehards are aware of this, but, just the average casual fan for Pirate baseball, if there's such a thing, but just the average fan may not know this. But, I mean, these aren't full scholarship players for baseball. There's a certain amount of scholarships. They're divided amongst the players. So, I mean, this is truly a way to, help subsidize that, help subsidize their education, help subsidize, having some spending money, that sort of thing.
It is. We get 11.7 scholarships in baseball for a roster of 40, right? Or 35 to 40. So,
right.
We're not trying to play in that sandbox of, pay to play at ECU. That's not our goal. We're not going out there recruiting people and dangling money in front of them. Our goal is to reward the players that are currently on the team or have been on the team, and to reward that loyalty and hard work that they've shown ECU. I think Cliff's been very clear on that point. So that's our charge. We want to be able to facilitate that, reward those guys, because we don't know where this is headed. I mean, the NL thing, it changes daily.
Yeah.
You hear these crazy stories about, driving Range Rovers and this and that. I mean, I can promise you, if a baseball player is driving a Range Rover at ECU, it's not because of us. So, we'll see where it goes, but it's one of those things that we feel like, we have to compete if we're going to be a top 25 program or top 10 program, which is really the goal. We have to compete at that level.
Mike, we'll get back to this on a couple points. Obviously, the season's right around the corner. I know you and your fellow alum and like all Pirate baseball fans, you're pretty excited, I have to imagine.
Very excited, yeah. I had my family at the banquet. My son, who's 11, almost 12, he's really starting to get into it. So he's very aware, and we want to see this team compete. I think all the pieces are there. I think they put in the work, the effort. I know they have, and we'll see how the season goes.
Yeah, it's exciting. Less than 3 weeks away from starting with Ryder, the opening series. Again, if you would, Mike, with the 23 Club, just give us a website and just, again, sort of a synopsis. And if there's anything I haven't asked you want to mention, please go ahead and do so.
Yeah, no, you can always go to 23club.org. That's the best way to reach us to donate. You can send checks in to Team Boneyard, so their address is on the website as our website. I do want to give a special shout out to my former teammates, my brothers, who really helped cultivate this idea. We were at Davy Penny and Glenn Tucker put together a lake trip for us to get us a little reunion, and that's where it happened. So those guys, awesome. Sam Nairn, Kevin O'Sullivan, Will Brinson, Taylor Williams, Warren Gaspar, Nick Wiedemeyer. So there's a whole host of us, and it was really cool. So
a lot of memories there, a lot of memory lane when you bring up that a lot of those names. Hey, Mike, best of luck with this, and anytime we need to update it, let us know. We'll be happy to have you back on.
Great. Thanks, Patrick. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Mike Harrington with us, the 23club.org. All right. I'm going to head over to tiebreakers. Pilk, you got the rest of this thing?
I've got it.
All right. Very good. Philip the Ref Pilkington is going to have a 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update for you right after this timeout, and then he will have a complete wrap-up of some of the football from yesterday with some audio, and he'll also have some other news and notes from the world of sports that has broken here this afternoon. So stand by for that. Have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you over at Tiebreakers tonight at 6 for Inside Pirate Athletics. Tomorrow morning, Talk of the Town back here for the PJ Show at 5 o'clock. We'll talk to you then. Pilk, when we come back.